Halfway up the straight, Hands and Heels, 2 lengths, Stageman and Gemma's Son. Recommendation going, Great Guns towards the line. Just wants to lug in a little bit. It's hard. Recommendation 3/4, Gemma's Son. Head 3/4, Brave Mead. Centre by the outside. Stapati in a sprint to the line is going to win. Stapati, a nice winner. Centre by second. Charmstone up the middle of the track takes the lead. Inhibitions is out to Sonic Boom flying. Charmstone, a tough winner. Charmstone won it.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Group 1 Makybe Diva Stakes Day. What a race it is and what a card it is, with a lot of good quality horses and a lot of progressive horses for the spring. We see Alligator Blood, Mr. Brightside, Princess Grace battle it out in the select field of 7 for the Makybe. Amelia's Jewel makes her Melbourne debut. Benedetta, how impressive can she be? And the old boy, Zutori, he's back. But let's get into the preview and find the winners for this fantastic card. Race number 1 at Flemington is the Robert Cream Sprint over the 1100 metres, and I've got Views on top. It's clearly the one to beat. 480 is way over the odds. I think it's the one here. Blakeshin in the saddle, replacing Mark Zara. Blakeshin won on this horse first. That was a dominant win that day. Was narrowly beaten by What a Deal second up, but still ran a cracking race. Right down in the weights here for Blakeshin, and is the lightest race horse in the race. I think can get the job done here. Skidmarine for second has a good record, 3 from 4. Little Miss Kubi comes out of a good race last start at the Valley, and Coles Ridge I thought was way over the odds at $34. But Views for mine, race 1 at Flemington, 35 the win. Race number 2 at Flemington is a quality handicap over the 2,500 metres, the staying event for the day, and I've got Shayar on top for Jamie Carr. Geez, that sounds nice. And I think it's going to be taking a fair bit of beating here. Has been really good in all of its runs since coming to Australia. Was good over the mile at its first run. One at its second start. First go 25, still ran a good race, no tempo in that race. It still did well enough to finish where it did, and then bolted in last start, right down in the weights, fresh up. Jamie Carr, with the blinkers, went on last start. She'll be able to put this horse into the race, and I don't think that they're going to beat it. Serpentine, the obvious leader here, and I think it'll go for it and be hard to, could be hard to run down for Ben Mellon. Just has to carry the weight. Interpretation, first go 2,500 metres this campaign, and United Nations tumbles in weight from last start as well. But Shayar for mine, race 2 Flemington. I'm going to be having 20 the win, and I think he can win for Jamie Carr. Race number 3 at Flemington. It's the first stakes race of the day. It's a listed the Sofitel over the 1,400 metres, and Antino. It's going to take a good horse here to beat him, and there's not one in this race. I think he's the standout here. He's clearly the one to beat. 8 from 9. Jimmy Orman for Tony Gollan. The Queensland combination with a good Queensland horse. They won't beat it. It's just the one to beat here, and I'm really confident in his chances. Detonator Joke up to the 1,400 metres looks to suit. Was good first up in the Regal Roller. Jamie Carr takes her up with the light weight. Is a clear second pick. Umgawa I thought was over the odds. Is flying this horse. Hard fit. Narrow second that's past 2. Billy again in the saddle. And the old King Magnus will run a cracker at $18. But Antino will win the Sofitel, 50 the win. Race number 4 at Flemington is the listed Poseidon Stakes over the 1,100 metres, and I've got King's Gambit on top, the proven horse, the proven Group 1 performed horse. This is only a listed race. He ran 3rd in the slipper, and I think he can take a lot of beating here. Blakeshin back in the saddle after riding it in the at its first race start, where it won by 5 lengths, and it was very impressive that day. Soul runs being in stakes, Coupling drawn the right part of the straight. Blakeshin back in the saddle, bring it, Peter and Paul Snowden, bring it back to Melbourne, and I think it's going to be hard to beat here. I Am Unstoppable has the run under the belt, so has to be considered here. And Drawn Well and Barry number 3 for Zach Spain, and Lloyd Kennewan, Lucy Yeomans. Pivot City was good on debut, winning by a big space. Can it go on here? It's had a bit of support to say it can. And Arkansas Kid I thought could run well. But King's Gambit in the Poseidon for mine, 35 the win. Race number 5 at Flemington is the listed Exford Plate over the 1,400 metres and Legacies. I'm going to say it. It's the one, Moral. Can't be beaten here. Is clearly the one to beat. 210.
Yeah, well, considering it's been well back into 210, I can see why it's such a short price favourite. And like I said, it's clearly the one to beat. 2 from 2 before I went for a spell. Resumed in the McNeil over 1200 and ran a cracking race. Hit the line hard up to the 1400 metres of the extra plate to a big track like Flemington. Good luck beating her. Griff for second, I thought could run really well. Has been racing really well in Sydney. Now Marius just bring it down to Melbourne. Introducing likely goes forward with the blinkers on the week backup. And Make a Call, I thought could run well. And he's over the odds at $34 for Peter and Paul Snowden. But Legacies, the Peter Moody, Kath Coleman, Jamie Carr. It's the right combination to win this, and they've got a good horse. Race number 6 at Flemington is the listed Capdom T Stakes over the 1100 metres, and another Queenslander here, Skirt the Law, drawn wide in barrier number 23, but that shouldn't matter. She'll come right down the middle of the track or down the far right-hand side of the track and be blasting away from them. Ryan Maloney for Tony Gollan to get another one here. Really confident on this horse. Ran a cracker first up. Formed Frank last weekend with Charmstone winning again. And I think this horse can take a fair bit of beating here. Stretton Angel for second. Jamie Carr for Philip Stokes. Although it can run really well. Just a career where it's at fitness-wise. Steel City was unlucky in a diamond and has run well in stakes races and can run well at $10. And Claymore Mine, impressive on debut at Mornington, winning its maiden, and at $151. It's the best offer you're going to see all weekend. I just can't see why it's that price. But Skirt the Law for mine, 35 the win and 12 the place on Claymore Mine. Race number 7 at Flemington is the Group 1 Makybe Diva Stakes over the mile, and I've got Alligator Blood on top. Now I'll explain why. It's not a buy selection at all. Well, it sort of is, but it's not really. He'll lead here very comfortably. Damien Oliver in the saddle, who know what to do, who know that this horse likes to go forward, front runner, and he can turn the tempo. He's going to control the tempo here. He can go as slow or as fast as he wants, and I don't think he'll be going slow enough to let the back markers come in, but he also won't be going fast enough to wear the horse out, and he'll click him up at the top of the straight, kick away, and I don't think they'll catch him in the end. If they do, Princess Grace is the one that will. Comes out of 2 good Group 1 races comes out of the Winks in Sydney and then ran really well in the Memsey second up, and I think third up, Makybe Diva to the mile. Coming off 2 1400 metre runs, can run really well. Mr. Brightside, I was happy to take on at the odds. Probably better Caulfield horse than he is at Flemington. And Osipenko can run well. But Alligator Blood for mine and there, Makybe Diva. He's the best Flemington horse in the race. And I think he'll score a dominant win here. 40 the win. Race number 8 at Flemington is the Group 2 Let's Elope Stakes over the 1400 metres. And the most intriguing horse all day to run has to be Amelia's Jewel, and I've got her on top. Look, she's got the bad barrier of 15 at top. Set that. She's a very exciting horse. She's a Group 1 winner. She's first up 1400, where previously she's only been first up at a sprint trip over at 1200 metres. And I think she can win here. She's 3 from 3 first up. Damien Lane in the saddle. Says the horse is flying. 2 trials to get ready for it. Damien Lane went all the way over to Perth to trial at its second trial and reported that it ran really well. It'll get back, it'll get back, so the barrier's not really an issue. But just watch it. Long Flemington straight, flying home. They won't beat her. Road to Arataki, I thought could run really well for second. Really consistent, this horse, but it's going to run into a smart one. See You in Heaven, I thought could run well, coming off the Behemoth Stakes in Adelaide last start. Back over to Melbourne, Craig Williams to ride. And Torregine, I thought was over the others. But Amelia's Jewel and the Let's Elope, 80 the win. They just won't beat her. Race number 9 at Flemington is the Group 2 Bobby Lewis Quality over the 1200 metres. And you know what? Benedetta, she's a star mare, and she'll prove it here. She's a Group 1 winner in the making, and I think she'll take care of these comfortably. Hard fit, in form, drops 3 kilos off the last one, and Stackhouse getting down to the 53 to ride her. That's big intent for mine, because he's going to have to waste to get that kind of a weight to ride her, and he's willing to do that. He thinks it's a good chance, and I think it's an absolute moral hit. I think it'll just be winning. Star Patrol for second, comes into some really good races. Won a recent trial by 5 lengths. Ben Mallam in the centre with the 54.5. I think can run really well. King of Sparta, he's here to play. Will run well for Blake Shin and Peter and Paulson. And Zootori, the old boy, contesting this race for the remarkable 6th time. And Damien Lane rides, and he's one of the best, one of the best riders going around in Melbourne at the moment, in form, and he's riding a $34 shot. I think he can run really well. But Benedetta in the Bobby Lewis of mine, 50 the win. Race number 10 at Flemington is a handicap over the 1700 metres, and I've got Devoted on top. It's between Devoted and Carini here, but I've gone with Devoted. Blake Shin in the saddle. Barrier number 10 is a good barrier for this horse. Gives Blake Shin options. Was good in the amenable race, the good form amenable race where Carini comes out of, but then went to a benchmark 101. Comes back to this race. Blake Shin rode Carini first up, but he decides to ride Devoted here, leaving Makybe Diva to ride Carini, and Carini does drop a lot in weight, but I still think Devoted's the better horse, and with the fitness on its side, I think it'll be taking a better beating here. Carini for second, I thought could run well. Flash Flood, ever so consistent and has been racing really well through the winter, and Aberfeldy, boy, looking for further, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him charging home. But Devoted for mine, race 10 Flemington, 25 the win to end the day. Thank you for watching my preview for Group 1 Makybe Diva Stakes Day. What a cracker of a card it is, and I can't wait for it. And I'll see you all next weekend for the Group 1 Underwood Stakes. The spring really hotting up now.